Hey everybody, Jamie Kelly here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Season 3 of the Approximate Podcast. Be sure to join our Patreon for only $5 a month to see all of Season 3's episodes in full HD video. That's patreon.com/approximate podcast. If you're already a patron, thank you so much for your support. And to everyone who's tuned in, we love you all. And now, on with the show. Kitty! Fucking stop it! God damn it. Fucking cat. Yeah, you. Oi. Scrapple. Stop it. Alright, cut. We're done. Fucking cat. God damn it. Jesus Christ, as I live and breathe, it's Domino Presley.
The legend.
Hello.
How you doing, sweetheart?
Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic now that you're here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Of course. I haven't yet.
Well, we'll get there.
Always a busy schedule. That you've made time at all is just, thank you so much.
Absolutely. For you, anything.
You just came off set.
Yes.
How was it?
It was amazing. I was shooting for my OnlyFans. I had my photographer doing a bunch of stuff, and I did a bunch of customs, and I did 3 or 4 different scenes.
Productive day.
Yeah, very.
So you have a whole team that takes care of this stuff for you.
Well, I just have Rudy who does it for me, and then sometimes I'll have some people who edit for me, but lately I've been editing myself because I need that creative outlet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like editing music, or so if you edit music, you can edit video, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. What's your experience with music?
Okay, so before I transitioned, I made music, kind of pop R&B dance type of stuff. And I recorded it and edited all of it in my closet, it was self-taught and everything. And then now I'm in a girl group, and we make music all the time. And so before we even go into the studio, we're editing constantly, and recording ourselves at our own homes. And one of our girls lives in Atlanta, so we have to constantly do stuff at home to make it work before we even go and waste time in the studio.
So I'm super interested. I'm a musician of 28 years, and I primarily a bass player, but
Hell
guitars, accordion, vocals, keyboards.
I just speak in bass.
You said bass, so you're a bass player?
No.
No.
I said I speak in bass. I just have a deep voice.
Oh.
My bass is my voice.
That larynx is just dropped. That's all.
Well, when did your interest in music spark, and when did you start getting your hands dirty?
Not until okay, so I was always creating little girl groups, and then pre-transition I was the boy and the girl groups, and it was always a 3-member, very TLC vibes. And then when I got into high school and started realizing I can actually make stuff myself at home, Mac Computer started offering more stuff like GarageBand, and GarageBand is really where I started to I taught myself everything. And then one day I had what was it, laryngitis or something, that thing where you get really and so my voice was extra deep, and I was oh, let me let's do some vocals on this, and that's kind of how it started. And I was yes,
There's some
everything.
deep sultry vocals.
Yes.
Nice.
It's a song called Life Off the Pole, and it was about a stripper.
There you go.
So is your experience sample-based stuff? Are you programming drums?
Mostly
let's deep dive into it.
Making the music was sample-based stuff, and then the little clips of beats that you could put, the little samples you could put together, and then build an entire song on GarageBand. And now what I'll do is I'm lazy, so I'll just go on YouTube and I buy the music off of young artists who are selling their stuff. I search for whatever I'm looking for, and then I spend hours of going through different songs, and then if I like certain beats, I contact them, or they'll have a link to buy it, and I purchase it right away, and then I start writing to it. And then I write all the stuff for our girl, well, not everything, but most of the stuff for our girl group. A lot of it, not most.
And that's the girls, right?
Yeah, the girls. Okay. GURLS.
So I want to hear about this, because as you talk about this, I'm probably going to bring it back to other questions. Tell me about the girls.
The girls are a 3-piece transsexual girl group. We're the first trans girl group with original music.
You make bangers.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, what kind of music is it? I think I know.
It's like pop and rap and dance and like I don't know. Alyssa always says that we are the genre. Like there is no genre we are in. We are the genre. Alyssa's the other member.
It's
There's
just
3.
a bunch of 808s and tucking.
Yeah, kind of. Actually, yes.
Duct
That's
tape and
fair.
synthesizers.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that world look like? You guys play live?
Yes. Right. We're actually about to go on like a little mini tour next month in October. Am I allowed to say what month it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Next month in October, we are doing Chattanooga College, like their Pride thing, and then we're going to Atlanta. We're doing 3 shows in Atlanta. Our first concert, like full concert, is in Atlanta on the 14th at the main stage on the Coca-Cola stage in Piedmont Park. Saucy Santana is also performing, and then we're going to New York City, and we're performing at some like drag competition.
You're going to
hosted
fuck
by-
New York City.
I
That's what I heard.
mean,
That's what I heard. Audience?
New York already fucked me.
I was gonna say, has that already happened? I don't know.
New York fucked me, and I got PTSD.
How long is your set? How long can you guys play, and what kind of venues and like shows?
It's just gonna be a 30-minute set, so it's like a
30-minute set.
smaller concert. And there's like 6 songs that we're doing. It's a huge melody. Maybe it's more than that. It might be 7. It's like a melody, and then Alyssa does all the mixing for it.
I see. What like how large is your repertoire? Like how many songs do you guys have?
I think like 20.
Oh, okay.
Not much.
So you can fill an hour if you needed to.
Yeah, if we needed to.
Okay.
And then we have like a couple covers that we're working on. But like, I don't want to do covers. I want to do original music.
Okay, well, there's a lot of stuff to talk about there. First of all, what are the covers that you may or may not like?
No, I love the one that we have right now. That's for sure that we're opening a concert with is If You Can't Dance by the Spice Girls, just because it's for gay pride.
Yeah.
And it has a rap part in it. It has a singing part in it. It also has a Spanish part in it. Our band is our girl group they're both Mexican, so they speak Spanish fluently, and it's a huge part of the music as well.
It's purpose driven. So we can give that one a mulligan. But you don't like the idea of generally doing covers. Why?
I like doing covers here and there, but like I don't want to make an entire album out of covers. And also the original girl group, trans girl group, the Secret Girls, they mostly did covers. And the 2 other members in my girl group are former members of the Secret Girls. So I'm like, as long as we need to step as far away from that as possible, not that that's a bad thing, but when we can write our own music, we should be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make your own history.
Yes.
Repeat history. Absolutely.
I feel like this is the first time I'm allowed to be chatty. Sorry.
No, chat all you want to. I remember the T Awards before last. I know last time y'all performed too, but the time before, it was the first time y'all performed, or this is you and Alyssa, I think.
Yes.
And I ended up editing that year, and I ended up cutting y'all together, and that was fun. Just like getting all the stuff together at the very first of it.
It was called Daddy.
Yeah, Daddy, yeah.
Alyssa and I have known each other since before we transitioned. So we go way, way back. She knows me when I was making music as a boy.
Nice.
So I'm interested in like the roles. It's a 3-piece.
Yes.
Okay, so who does what in the band outside of like shaking your ass on stage? Who does what in the band?
We're just 3 musician, like singer vocalists.
I was gonna say, is it fair to even like
Call it a band. I would call it a girl group.
call it a girl group?
Yeah.
So essentially, who does what?
I'm the rapper and I write a lot. And then Alyssa is the vocalist and she writes a lot. And then Raquel is our singer and she writes every now and then. Raquel, Buddy Wood's wife.
Oh, oh shit! I was wondering who the last person was. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember because she wasn't in the first Daddy one y'all did.
Right. She wasn't in the
last
original
year,
lineup.
though.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's our new member.
And then we also had Eva Maxim doing her song that year, last year, too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Is there a song that you're meaning to promote, or really, I just want to know what your favorite song is.
My favorite song that we are doing right now is Woof, but the song that will be coming out next is Chirp, and it's about like broke boys. Oh, it's really about hobosexuals, not homosexuals, hobosexuals. Like we literally, it's literally
Back it up. What?
What is
hobosexual. Like it's mostly men. They're like men who will literally like they don't have. They're usually straight, but they'll sleep with anybody so they have a place to live.
Oh, so a
Hobosexual.
couch surfer. Kind of.
Yeah, but he's fucking
But
you.
offers sex.
He's fucking you to stay in
Instead
your
of rent.
house. Yeah, he's fucking you and all of your friends to stay in your house.
Is he good enough to do that?
Now is that? I'm old. I don't know what the cool things are. Is that different from a fuck boy? Is that?
Well, a fuck boy doesn't live with you.
Oh, they don't.
I mean, maybe they do. Like anybody can be a fuck boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But a homosexual is like literally like it's a straight guy that will live. He will sleep with a gay man so he can live in his house.
Oh, he's gay for pay for a house.
Kinda, yeah. He's gay. Yeah.
The song that you're promoting, I want to put that in, and then is the other one that you said is that still like in production?
No, it's like it's done.
Oh, it's done. Is it like publicly available?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It will be by the time this comes out, though.
Is there going to be like an album, or is there already an album?
There will be an album. It's in the works. We were going to originally have an album out already because we had enough music for it. But then I was like, can we just wait and like take more time, make sure we love it? So we ended up re-recording 2 of the songs because we're more comfortable in the studio, especially Raquel because she was new when she came in. So like now she's one of the most amazing singers I've ever heard. So she's actually able to do that in the studio now that she's more comfortable with everyone.
Nice. That's good. Got some pipes in the group.
Yeah, thank God.
Somebody.
It's not going to be me or Alyssa. I mean, it could be, but it's not going to be.
You compared editing music to editing video. What's your experience with editing video?
Well, I have to edit my own OnlyFans a lot of times if I don't have somebody else do it. But I actually enjoy the creative process of editing my own videos. I like to make it look a specific way. And more my own like style because I feel like a lot of porn is very like very bright. It's very, very bright. And I like to make I like to make things moody.
Sure.
And also I used to edit music videos for like small rappers.
Really?
Like
That's interesting. So like okay, so you're in as far as like editing stuff.
Like I wouldn't know what
Where
the
did
names
that
are.
passion come from?
Yeah.
That you're not only talking about editing your own stuff, but you're helping people out. You're a creative. You're real creative. Like,
Oh, absolutely. I'm more like of a creative person. Like, yeah. I do art. Like, I used to paint when I was younger.
Hell yeah.
I sketch all the time. All my gowns that you see, I design.
What? Oh, wow.
I design and I send to my. He's also a designer. But he also sews all of them for me by hand. This boy that I've known since middle school.
And that's all of the gowns from the TEAs? 'Cause they are fire.
Like I'll sketch. Thank you. I'll sketch them out and I send it to him, and then he makes them. Or he'll like last year I think he just did it himself.
Oh, nice.
I was like, do whatever you want. It was my favorite one.
Yeah, last year's was, it was hot. I liked it.
Thank you.
How did you get your start in this industry? Because this is an industry podcast. So I want to know, like, dive deep. Talk about it. When and how did you find yourself in this business of show?
In 2009, I was a hooker and like on the internet. And it wasn't like
So you started as a sex worker.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, like
still is.
like when I literally on my 18th birthday when I was a boy, the first thing I did was like on my birthday I went and shot a porn.
Really?
Yeah. Never came out. Not a great experience. Like lots of trauma was there after that. Like but then like I transitioned and I was like, oh, this is who I'm supposed to be. And then I was like, yeah, bitch, try me this time. And then I was 2009 and I was an escort. Things weren't really safe that way. And I wanted to be able to make more money to be able to afford the surgeries that I wanted. And being a hooker in Atlanta was not ever gonna, like, that was too much saving. So I thought being a porn star, you were gonna be like super rich and all this other shit, like the same stuff everyone thinks. Sorry.
Hit the brick wall.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then I was like, oh, everyone that you think is rich is struggling. And then I didn't struggle so much.
Did you have any kind of like previous job experience? Was there,
Like before
I'm
being an escort?
I'm searching for the drama. I'm searching for that story, that hero story of I was working, I hated it, and then all of a sudden there was this.
Oh, I worked all the jobs. This I transitioned during a time when there was not jobs for trans people. So like when I transitioned, you could be on Jerry Springer, did that, check. You could be a drag queen, did that, check. You could work at Starbucks, didn't pay enough, wasn't going to do that. Or you could be a hooker or be a porn star. That was it. Like we weren't in public unless you were super passable. Sorry if that offends you. That's something that we had to go through back in the day. That was a badge that we fucking wore. That was like you were either passable or you got killed back in the day.
It's true.
You like if you weren't passable, you only come out at night. Or you go to gay bars and gay restaurants. So I transitioned during that time period. So then I auditioned to be on this drag show that's out that's very popular. They were doing season 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race. And at the time, they were not taking trans people. They did not tell people that, though. And then it was down to me, Nicole Paige Brooks, and Kylie Sonique Love. They asked me if I would detransition to be on the show. And I said no.
Oh, that's rough.
And so Nicole and Kylie were on the show. Not saying like they didn't deserve it more than I did, but like then they were the two from Atlanta that was on the show. And so I was like, bitch, I'm going to get famous my own way. And also the boyfriend that I was with said you would probably be good in porn. So then I started doing porn and it was kind of like a I'll show you thing.
Was it about chasing fame? Was it about, or?
No, it was about chasing money to be able to afford my transition. It was about chasing something where I would be celebrated and accepted. Like, we weren't ever going to, back then, the mindset was we were never going to be famous for our transness. I wasn't going to go and live like a stealth life my whole fucking life. I had done that. It was so obnoxious to be around straight people and sit there and like, oh, can they tell my voice? Like policing yourself constantly. You can't laugh in front of them. You can't cough in front of them. Oh my God, it's obnoxious. And like doing this for what? Them? Absolutely not.
Yeah, right.
No,
Exactly.
no.
Worth it.
I'm not dumbing myself down to be boring ever again. And porn, I was celebrated. Well, we were celebrated. And also when I looked at the porn stars that were around at the time, I was like, oh, I can do this.
Right.
Well, yeah,
There was like no one back then. There was like 5 of us.
I was about to say, yeah, you're like one of like the original type of like, matriarchs that
I
kind of
love
came out
that.
of porn.
What year did you start?
I shot my first one in 2009, but it came out in 2010 in January.
Yeah.
So I shot it in 2009 December. It came out in January.
2007 over here. So we're coming out
I was
right
gonna
around
say,
that
I was
same
telling
era.
him earlier, I was so excited to do this with you because you're from the same, like, you know how much it's changed.
Oh my God, the world is so different compared to how it was.
Oh God, girl, the things, it's so easy for them now. Like, and I hate sounding like that and saying that.
I know, I have that little thing in me.
They
I
have
get it.
no idea. Like, their shit, like, they're so, like, they go to all these award shows and like, I'm like, cool, you go do that. But you know, these people used to not let us walk the red carpet. We used to not be allowed to go on that stage and accept anything.
When you and I started, we're only 2 years apart. But when you and I started, we were at, and I've said this on previous episodes of the podcast, we were at that like crossover where being a trans performer was akin to being a circus freak.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know?
absolutely.
And like you and I, we like started where it started to gradually become something that was legitimized.
Yes.
But we were very much like, and that's why we got to make some money, because as much as like we were already like on top of, I know how this is going to go. I'm a real person. I'm legitimate. But we had to put our foot in the door by the powers that be saying that, well, no, actually, we're hiring you because you're a novelty,
Right.
you know? And
But I only put up with it so long before I was like, yo, you got to change the name of this shit or I'm not doing it anymore. As soon as I got
we also went through that.
as soon as I got some
phase of it,
fame, I was pulling that string. I'm not shooting for you unless you change your name. I'm not doing this unless you change the name of this. I'm not working with you unless you stop calling us this.
Yep.
And well, not saying I'm the only one.
No,
it
which
took
happened
all
around
of us to do it.
like
but
2014, 2015.
Yeah,
around that
Yeah,
time.
it was around then. There was a gradual shift towards legitimacy, and we're still kind of fighting it.
oh, absolutely.
We're still kind of fighting it.
And we're kind of like going back a little bit.
Yeah.
We're
a
going
little bit.
backwards a little bit.
All the performers kind of got a sense of autonomy for a while there. Like even when I got in 2012, like we still were, there were still slur names and all that shit, all that stuff. changed around 2014, 2015, just a bunch of people's efforts and like saying, okay, well, hey, we're not going to do it anymore unless you're going to, change the name or, like, of course, the whole SEO thing came up and all that. We talked about that with Crystal on the show, and she was able to give us a little bit more insight in that.
I love a huge part of the change is also due to Crystal, and it's
absolutely.
amazing that it took a woman to do it.
Yeah. Well, she's kind of
like queer, like
industry
a
angel.
rainbow person.
Yeah,
oh my God. I always say that. You're the fucking God. Yeah, you're the godmother of trans women. In this industry, you're the one watching over all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What we're dealing with here is we're just talking about what it is to live within the like trans community in adult entertainment industry. And it could have gone south or could have stagnated so hard if it wasn't for the fact that somebody like Crystal that could like advocate
Look past the business.
to soften the edges.
Yeah.
In a male-dominated industry, like in a male gaze-dominated industry, I can't overstate how important Crystal is.
She also knows that people are going to listen to her before they'll listen to us. So she'll be the one that relays the message for us often. And I'm grateful that she uses her ability for that.
She's a friend for the friendless. She's a voice for the voiceless.
Yes.
Because, like, you might have concerns. You speak to Crystal, she'll be out loud about it.
Yeah.
She will, and like, affect change.
Come on, Crystal fan club.
Again,
Yeah. Absolutely.
look, we poured a shot. Here's one to Crystal.
Yeah,
That Crystal is
Here's one to Crystal.
KFC.
Cheers.
I just had that.
That was horrible for radio.
Yeah, it was. What was the KFC joke there? I didn't get it.
Crystal fan club.
Oh, shit.
You thought we were talking about chicken.
I did for a second. Like, what?
Like, this fucking idiot.
And my brains don't work all that good, okay?
Mine doesn't like ever. I'm always stoned. Sorry.
This has been a great time so far. So I think, we're almost halfway through, and there's
God, I was like, what, are we done?
so much more to talk about.
Can we talk about my scholarship real quick?
Please, let's do that.
Speaking of Crystal.
Absolutely. It's a good way to segue.
So Crystal was kind of like when she was getting accredited for all that stuff, we were talking a lot, texting, and it was right before I got divorced. I was in a situation where I was extremely privileged. I still am right now. Not saying I'm poor after the divorce. But I wanted to give back in some way. And she was like, why don't you start a scholarship? And I was like, here, I'm going to send you money and you do this, what you think you need to do. She was like, what about a scholarship? I was like, okay, but only if it helps trans sex workers. Like that, I only wanted to help them because I'm so tired of us getting left out of everything. Like, you can get all this help unless you're a trans sex worker. So no, bitch. Now only trans sex workers can apply for this. But it's a scholarship, not for college. It's for when people are transitioning. A lot of times, if they want to take further steps in their transition, they need a letter from a licensed therapist or whatever to get either their gender confirming surgery or sex change surgery for people who don't know, or even just changing your name. In some states, you need a letter, and Crystal is licensed to do so, but that costs money, and there's a lot of people who, like especially trans sex workers, do not have that kind of spare change. So if you apply for this and you meet the requirements, then I pay for it.
That's beautiful. She's so real for that.
I mean, like, I'm sucking dick for money, so I might as well give it back. And also, like, I didn't come from money. Like, I know the struggle, and like, I was lucky enough to have girls who were like, who gave me, they didn't help me out financially, but they gave me the information that I needed. There was a girl, Melania, she told me exactly where to go to get my name changed, how to do it, like how to kind of like beat the system at that time. And then when I got it done, she said, the only thing I want from you is to like pay it forward, do the next trans girl that helps you. And that's always stuck with me.
Don't gatekeep.
It's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, and at that time when I had first started doing porn when I had started getting a name for myself in 2010, I was out here. And I was out in LA, and I was at this club, and I went to go see the only famous trans actress at the time, this white girl, and she was performing at this club. And then I went, I'm sorry, it was like just so they don't think it's like Angelica Ross or like Laverne. It was this other girl. I was so excited to meet this person. I idolized her, and she treated me like complete fucking shit. And then like I was in the only woman's stall at the time, and she kind of harassed me. And like not harassed me, but she like tormented me basically. And that stuck with me. And I was like, I never want to be that fucking cunt that like a girl who looks up to me or might not even looks up to me, a girl who hates me. I don't want to have her running around acting like this and relaying that story being like, and Domino Presley fucking tormented me and she was a little fucking cunt. I'd rather it be like, she was amazing or like she was nice or like she helped me with this or whatever. Like she wasn't who I thought she was going to be. Like,
Domino Presley's a person.
She's, yeah, I guess.
Like a real person, not some
She's an
uppity cunt.
alien.
Don't tell anybody.
She's a goddess. Yeah, no, like I like to pretend like I'm a huge cunt. I am a huge cunt. But like when it comes to trans people, I'm always team trans. Even if a trans girl doesn't like me.
Would
I'm
you
always,
describe yourself as a hooker with a heart of gold?
You know what? Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah.
I like to call myself an escort, but well, like
Right.
now I'm just like retired. Just kidding. No, I'm not. As my ad goes up.
We got to pay the rent. We got to pay the rent.
Retired until the right check, right?
Well, like the thing is like, okay, so OnlyFans pays all of my bills. But then escorting pays for like my obsession with fashion or like escorting will pay for like music videos. Those are not fucking cheap. No, those are like anywhere from minimum $10,000. The ones that I've done, minimum $10,000. Like, no, bitch, it's not cheap.
Yeah, especially if you're making a pop music
No,
video.
I absolutely understand. You know how many dicks I had to suck to have the means of production so that I don't have to pay for a music video?
Yeah.
Like, bitch, all that shit that you guys see in the background and all the stuff that you don't see, that's so I don't have to have hire a production company and spend $10,000. I did the $10,000 thing. Now I just got to, like, open up the camera and
Girl, wait till
do
you
the
have
work.
backup dancers. Backup dancers, choreographers. What is the other one that we have? Like hairstylists. If we don't want to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But we're all
so much.
like we're all former drag queens and showgirls, so we can think on do it ourselves.
And it's, man, does it cost money?
And
Oh
you
my
got
God, so
locations,
much.
you got freaking equipment. all that
Locations
shit.
cost a lot.
Yeah.
And then
Locations, yes.
location costs a lot. I shot in some like mini Tokyo. It's like inside of this whole studio. I got it because Jamie Foxx worked there. So I was like, if it's good enough for Jamie Foxx, it's good enough for Domino Presley. And the girls.
Would you like another one?
I'll take one, thanks. Yeah. Girl, let's turn up.
I would drink, but I'm on a medicine. I can't drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
But the pot doesn't do anything.
No, not at all.
It's
I
fine.
mean, it gets me high.
At least,
I was going to say, if it doesn't do anything, girl, what's wrong? What is this medicine? Ew.
what I'm saying is, at least you got that.
Yeah.
Do you do edibles ever?
Yeah. Edibles. I also do shrooms sometimes and
I just got into
acid.
shrooms.
Yeah.
Acid? Really? I've never tried that. I just got into shrooms. It was kind of life-changing. Definitely makes you a nicer person. Like, I microdose. I don't
Oh, no, totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Microdoses. You know, I was around like 20, 21. I was microdosing like regularly, like every like 3 days or so.
I'm definitely a nicer person when I do it, and I feel more connected with like the rest of Earth.
I feel like it gives me just a little bit more oomph to take on the day. Like it makes things a little bit sparklier, a little bit more
Everything's
colorful.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
I can all of a sudden go out in like a crowded space and be like, oh my God, you guys aren't complete fucking assholes. Like, it's me.
Music sounds a little bit better.
You can almost see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
Especially
wind
during
is
production.
like sparkly. It feels tingly almost.
Yeah.
I like the grass.
It's a little, just like a little oomph. I'd
Do you do
say.
this?
I got her onto it.
I was like, why are you looking at us like you're like confused?
I am the lamest motherfucker in the party.
She's
I am
super
the
square.
I'm super square.
Yeah.
I have two vices. They're tobacco and they are the alcohol. I've done
Alcohol.
I've done
Oh yeah, it's a character.
I've done a little pot. Never worked for me. Brain doesn't work that way. Not for me. And I've never done any kind of psychedelics except for
Microdosing.
recently over the past, I'd say 3 years.
Yeah.
Little bit of microdosing on the mushrooms.
Did you
2021.
enjoy it?
And I gotta say, for a really square person that like doesn't partake with the drugs, it helps. It helps.
It does. It really does. I like earth drugs.
Earth drugs.
Same,
What
yeah.
does that mean?
Drugs that came from the earth.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
okay.
natural
Okay.
drugs.
Natural.
Like,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not LSD or LSD or.
Well, yeah. Well, LSD's I guess a
Now,
little bit
hold
of
on, we can say-
exception.
hold
a little bit of
on.
exception, right?
Earth drugs is also heroin because poppy.
Oh wait,
seeds.
no.
Oh, yeah, it's opium,
okay,
right?
So I don't want that.
No
I don't
opium.
want heroin.
No.
Okay, so I used to do coke. I still do every now and then if it's in front of
Party.
my face. Like,
It's
yeah.
a party drug, so it's a little different.
But like I was married to someone who is an addict, and my sister is an addict, and my mom is an alcoholic and a pill popper. So like I'm trying to be mindful of not like sticking on it. It's sometimes I'm like sitting there smoking pot, and I'm like, bitch, you are so addicted to this.
That's me with alcohol. I grew up with alcoholism in my family, a divorce and all that stuff, and I'm the same way with alcohol because I'm like, I don't want to touch it too much. I don't want
You have an aversion because of what happened.
past. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, growing up and seeing how nasty it can get.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I wish I had more of that. I feel like I was
like,
like, let me find out what my mom was feeling. And then I was like, let me crawl out of this.
Oh, I learned a lot from my mom. Mostly how to avoid shitty men.
That's a good lesson.
I've told my mom like things I've learned from her, and she's a Leo, so she's like, oh, of course it's all my fault. Like blah 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 blah.
That's what you got to go to therapy for, honestly. How
I
much
do.
did your family?
Oh my
fuck
god,
you up?
I go to therapy so much. I go to therapy because of the people that won't go to therapy. Like I am in therapy every other week.
You do therapy.
Oh my god, yes.
For how long?
Okay, so it was actually blessed upon me when I was married. It was our marriage counselor when my ex-husband was in one of the many rehabs he was in. They like, I guess, I don't even know because it was all a lie, but like we ended up in marriage counseling. And then I gained that therapist. We were there in that therapy. It was going great. And then I was watching a documentary on the Boy Scouts, and this boy was talking about how he had gotten. We're going to get real deep. This boy had talked about how he had got molested this certain way, and the way that he had said it was so like almost identical to a situation that had happened to me when I was a younger boy. And the way it hit me, like I literally felt like I got run over by a truck. Like it knocked the wind out of me. Like I felt like I was going to have a panic attack, and I hadn't had one of those in a long time. And so I had told my husband at the time, and he was like, you should go see our therapist for like one-on-one. And I've been on one-on-one therapy ever since. So for like 2 years, two and a half years. And I love it. Therapy's great. Everyone should be in it.
That's great. It's something I'm still trying to get to. I'm still trying to find a good therapist.
I have one for you in Vegas.
really?
I have one for you. I'll give him.
Please
I'll,
pass.
I will give you my.
Them?
I will give you. It's a him. He's Asian
okay.
and he's gay.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Good. I always like the queer element.
And he's already dealt with me, so he kind of knows how to deal with trans people. Are you in therapy?
No, I should be. I
You
should
do?
be.
It's great. I love it.
She's like me. She's like we're trying to get to it. We're trying to, put our
I don't
asses
have-
in that chair.
I don't have an aversion to it.
Yeah.
It's just, and I know that we have resources like the pineapple. We have,
I haven't tried that yet, so I don't know.
I will have links in the description as you guys are checking this out because I do want to give anybody that's listening, access,
Resources if they need them.
resources that they need them. But to keep the conversation moving along, so for the industry, we have this thing called a pineapple. And essentially what it does, because I've helped people get through it and use the pineapple system, pineapple will essentially put you in contact with a therapist that works on a sliding scale, and you get about like 6 sessions out of it. And it's a means to like get you immediate help. Once you do the 6 sessions, do you want to continue? Once you continue and your 6 sessions are up, you're on your own. I've only gone through therapy once in my life, like paying for sessions. I paid for 6 sessions in Texas about 10 years ago in order to jump through hoops to get a fucking name change in Texas.
This is why I have my scholarship.
And it was the worst kind of therapy because I wasn't doing it to get therapy. I was doing it to jump through hoops to do a name change.
Yeah,
So I didn't even get anything out of it because in my mind at that point getting help wasn't the thing. I was just trying to
Move on.
just
Move
move
ahead.
on and like and like
forward.
Move forward. Yeah.
yeah, move forward and in my transition and like make myself legal.
Yeah.
And have legal documentation.
Yeah.
Have somebody
So
not
I
call you by
didn't-
some
I-
fucking name.
Yeah.
So I was like, when I sat with the therapist that I had, who I literally hired because they said they were LGBT friendly. I thought that if I'd gone through enough sessions that they would give a recommendation to the Texas board of such and such, and then I would get a pass to get, but that wasn't, she had no fucking idea.
Texas sucks.
So I literally wasted like $800 worth of sessions. What I didn't know at the time was that I should have been there to actually do the sessions, and I was just playing the game. I'll spend $800 with this lady, and then I'll get the F on my license. I'll get the name change. I'll get the thing. And it didn't happen.
Girl, I am still a man named Jasmine. So, like, in Georgia, they don't let you change that.
God damn.
Unless you have a vagina.
Oh, man. That's how it is in Texas, too, actually. Yeah.
I just want to impress the, like, importance of I should have been doing therapy when I was actually trying to, like, I was just being pragmatic about trying to, get to a goal. It turns out I didn't have to spend that fucking $800 at all. I was fortunate enough to be born in California, and I went and I just hit up California's government, and I said, well, can you just put an F on my birth certificate? And they went, yes. And then because I had that birth certificate, I could put an F on my passport, and then from that way forward, I could put an F on everything. So
Texas had to respect it then.
I didn't have to go through that therapy, quote unquote therapy, to like, chase an ends to a means. But I still got to say, I wish I had the wherewithal to utilize that therapy.
Yeah, I don't really even count like the hoops you have to jump through in therapy to be like actual therapy, because you're like actually not talking about your issues. You're just wanting to move forward.
You're just proving you're yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I got lucky on that thing. I was in Texas, sure, and I had I just needed to get a therapist so I could get HRT letter, right? I got lucky and I got a blind therapist. So nice. 2 sessions, and she was like, "Bitch, I'm not holding you up. You're just."
Girl, you're a woman.
What
Get
do you
out of
need?
here.
What do you need? I can already see what you are. Here you go. What do you need? Yeah, she gave me the letter to give to Subway.
Not I can already see what you are. Oh, girl.
She couldn't even see, but she could see what I was.
I can feel what you are. I get it.
I'm gonna dive back in on this, and I gotta say, a part of the story that I left out was the money that I spent on the breast surgery and the FFS and the Orchid that I've had, the 3 major surgery I had. It meant so much more to get that letter of recommendation from the surgeon to get all of my accommodation and stuff changed. Like, I didn't have to spend the money on the therapist to do that. It turns out that there's one trans-friendly cosmetic surgeon in Texas. And because of the power of their recommendation as a doctor, I use that.
Well, there's 2. They
change.
operate under the same building.
Yeah, to change everything. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that I should have utilized the therapy.
Therapy.
And you paid $800 for pretty much nothing. I paid $50 a session for 2 sessions.
Jeez. Like, I'm not even going to say what I pay per session.
I know, I'm very lucky when it comes to that, but Texas is a motherfucker though. You have to pay
really
out
is.
of your ass and then go to court, and you have to have a vagina for all kinds of, like any kind of change.
The South is crazy.
Yeah.
The South is
Yeah, I'm from
Anything
Georgia.
on the Bible Belt, right?
absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Just real quick praise to Nevada.
What'd they do?
I went in. Well, I had to. We moved here 4 years ago. I had to get my driver's license changed, and because I had gone through all the stuff that I did in Texas and made mistakes and realized that like my dumb fucking plastic surgeon could vouch for me and got all my shit changed again. It's a lot of interwoven things. I was also fortunate enough to be born in California, so they don't give a shit. They'll take a note from a doctor. I got all that stuff, and then I go to the DMV with a Texas license that says male, and because I've lived here for a year, I hand to him and I just sneak it in. I say, "Look, could you put in an F on my thing?" I go presenting. Yeah, I'm dolled up. I want to take a good picture for my license.
I mean, when are you not presenting? You're
Right?
a fucking woman.
Yeah, no, but like I'm
Right,
like I'm like making the extra effort,
You're giving the doll fantasy.
Right. But I go there, and the lady, the difference between the South and like decent states like Nevada or California, I went up there and I said, I'm female, could you put the F? And she went, well, do you have your birth certificate? I went, yeah. She just looked at it. She didn't even confer with anybody. She just went, oh, okay, F. And that was it. So I got like my birth certificate, my fucking passport, my driver's license, everything I'm super confirmed with.
Nice.
You know?
Congrats.
Yeah, lucky you. You can go to Dubai.
Which I'd never do. I would.
I will get arrested on site.
That's too risky.
Murdered.
That's too risky.
Girl, I don't want to get murdered.
Terrible.
That's not how I go out.
No, not in Dubai.
No, not in Dubai. Not murder.
I prepped you before the show and said that this conversation is going to go in all kinds of different directions. And it literally has, but we're literally coming to the end. And I want to do a better segue because we didn't actually get to talk about the industry that much.
Sorry, I have ADHD.
No worries. No worries. I'm going to get into it a little bit, and then I'm going to bring us to the lead out, all right? So I'm going to do a hard left turn so that I can segue a little more easier later down the road. Hard left turn is, you've been in the business. I've been in it for 17 years. You came 2 years after me, so you've been in it for 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I need one short story of something ridiculous that happened to you on set.
Give me the horror story.
Like bad?
No.
It could be funny.
Yeah.
It could be bad.
horror
It could be
as in W.
traumatizing.
Or
It could
story.
be something
I'm
where
like trying to think. They're not like my scenes are very boring usually.
but your situation behind the scenes, like you felt triumph, or you're like, fuck that thing that happened. Just something.
Oh, fuck that
fun.
thing that happened. Okay,
Sure.
so
All right.
several. Oh my God, this one company, girl. Here we go. Fuck that thing that happened. You got me, bitch. There's this one website.
You can say names.
I'm not saying it because I want to shoot for them again because they pay well. But I helped them start their
the
company
bag,
up
girl.
back in the, like they didn't even have a name yet. And I helped them start some shit up. They weren't shooting any black models for a long time. They only had one. And so, but, like, I ran an agency for a little bit, like just like a mom and pop's agency, like not accredited or anything like that. I represented some black models, and I represented a lot of top model, like the top white models, because at that time the only top models were white models. And the black model had said to me, because she's been around for fucking ever, so like she was saying, have you noticed that I'm the only black girl on the site? It's like it makes me feel this kind of way. I've mentioned it to them and they never said anything. And I was like, well, email them again. Show me your email after you send it. She emails them again. I was like, did they say nothing? Or did they say anything? She was like, nothing. Sends me exactly what she says. So I email the company, literally within 5 minutes had a response. And I was like, don't apologize to me. You need to apologize to her. So then I had to held all the models of mine from this company until they had an X amount of black models on their website. That in itself is ridiculous to me, that took somebody who was not black to bring it up to them to make that happen. Other things that fucking sucked in this industry that happened. We had this one guy who was tall and like, I'm all over the place. Sorry, I'm really stunned. We had that one bald guy that was in the industry forever. Like,
fuck that guy.
Like,
yeah.
He's been around forever just doing crazy ass shit
Yeah.
to these people. And like, there's certain producers who will get on Twitter and like bump their gums or like rage tweet about like, this girl's this kind of thing. She's a predator, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why is there not the same energy behind the men who are doing this to the girls? Like, you got to protect us, not just like slander, not slander us, but like throw us under the bus whenever there's one girl who does something bad. Like, I need that same energy with the men who are doing this, because most of these men still live or like work in this fucking industry. Most of them still work, and the girls that they fucking preyed upon don't work anymore because these guys are the ones that the men are kissing their ass to in this industry. I think that's fucked up. What else do I think is fucked up?
Well, I mean, you're the biggest reason behind them cutting that fucker out of the T Awards, because what you said.
Well, I said that. I said what I said.
Oh, I got it saved. I edited it.
I have the whole video of the whole fight on stage and everything. We're not going to say that person's name, but when that girl came up on me on stage, what I realized afterwards watching the video that got cut out of it is they can't hear what she's saying to me. They could hear what I was saying because I had the microphone in my hand. So it kind of just looked like I was being a bitch to this fucking bitch. But really, this bitch was saying some crazy ass shit to me. And all I kept thinking in my head was like, I know stories about you being kind of away with your girlfriends. And I was like, is this how you talk to your fucking girlfriends? Like, no, like, bitch, she's sitting in my face like, you're not that girl, Domino. You're not that girl, Domino. I was like, are you trying to trigger me? Like, you are not going to make me feel like I'm not that girl in that dress.
Well,
like,
speaking about this particular dude, you're talking to the very same people
I
that
know.
started
The Performer Speak Out.
the Performer Speak Out campaign.
I love it. I like when I go to our DMs, that's like the first thing we were DMing about.
And we all know there's problems, and this has come up in the podcast. And
Fabulous.
I think the lay of the land, especially like our audience and just like the people that we have on the podcast, we all get what's going on, and we know what the problems are. A lot of it has been taken care of, but there's still much more work to be done. I'm not going to final solution. I still think, Jamie, I might cut this out for what I'm about to say, but
Yeah.
outside of that final solution, I will say this.
Beat it.
Deserves it. He's done it enough to women in the industry.
Everyone hates
Keep that to whoever's going to see this
Yeah.
in the future. We're going to keep everything legal. I'm just going to tamp it down there. Some stuff is just behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Nuck if you buck, bitch.
But I do want to say this. I'm going to segue from everything that you've just shared
And you know what's also fucked up?
Fucking segue.
to this. Because we got about 6 minutes before our technical gear gets wonky. What are 3 pieces of advice that you'd give the up-and-comers in this industry with your 15 years experience?
It can be as a model, as a producer, as an agency, or whatever.
There's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a model, if you're new and you're coming in, don't expect to get rich overnight. Don't expect to like blow up overnight. But also like you can get as famous as you put the work in. So like if you want to be super famous, you need to work your ass off to be super famous. You need to shamelessly promote yourself. Even when people are telling you you're not that girl, you're that girl. Keep promoting yourself. Always ask for more money. They have a budget. They have bigger budgets. There's always room for if she asks for more money. Always ask for more money. Ask for more, and if they say no, then be like, okay, what will you pay? Negotiate with them. Get as much money as you can from these motherfuckers who are making money off of your trans body. Second thing,
Amen.
Don't do scenes that are going to perpetuate a fucking horrible narrative for us. And if you are going to do those scenes, because I still do them sometimes, but I don't find out because I don't read the script until I get there, you have to use your voice to educate these stupid ass directors, some stupid ass directors, and tell them why this is not a good scene, because you doing this scene is perpetuating these people out on the streets asking this and thinking that trans people actually like this, when in fact they don't, and they fucking hate it. So quit asking us to do it, because every time you do, you're reminding us of our past selves, or like a lot of us, or like be okay with a bitch who doesn't top.
Let's give a definitive number 2.
If you don't like the makeup artists at these places, don't let them do your fucking makeup. These places don't hire real makeup artists. They hire a cis woman who does her own makeup. She is not a makeup artist. Unless she has a makeup artist degree, certificate, whatever, she went to school for makeup, she's not a makeup artist. Get a drag queen, get your gay friend, get a transsexual who knows how to do her makeup. Also, transsexual is not a bad word. Transsexual just means you're more into your transness with your surgeries than the other ones. That doesn't take anything away from your transgenderness. But you leave my transsexual ass alone with my transsexualisms.
Right.
And number 3, don't shoot with Christian.
There you go. We can all stand behind that.
Like, girl, he's not going to make you a star. That's a lie. He thinks I'm obsessed with him. I'm obsessed with girls not being fucked over. I'm not obsessed with you, homie. You dead. Like, I'm not obsessed with you. I'm obsessed with girls not fucking themselves over and doing better. We need to do better and be better and get rid of him.
Absolutely. Do not shoot with Christian. The anywhere from the $800 to $1,400 he's going to promise you, it's not worth it to be abused. 1, to have your professional name besmirched because he's black. I mean, he's a black sheep. You know, it's like we all like, oh, you shot with Christian. I guess you're willing to do anything. And like we can kind of have this thought of like thinking less of a performer because they gave in, but that's not fair.
Hold on,
that's
yeah.
not fair because a lot of folks come into this industry that just want to. They don't understand.
So
especially the new girls, which is the ones he prays off of.
So you have to
They're
recognize.
naive, and he prays off
Yeah.
of people being naive, and they just want to be in a scene. They just want to. They need to make rent. They need that $1,100 that's promised, but it's going to fuck you every time, and you don't want to. You don't want your name attached, especially when you're young. You got so many years ahead of you. You don't want your name to be attached to somebody that is an abusive motherfucker. Don't besmirch your name. Take the loss. Don't do the scene. Find another way to make money. Just like dive out of that. Don't fucking work with Christian.
A lot of girls are like, well, he's like the only one sticking up for trans people. Bitch, if you know what he said about trans people behind the closed doors, he's friends with like, he's best friends with, or like I don't think he has a best friend. He's friends with certain people. And the good thing, like I'm friends with like everybody, so everybody relays everything to me. So I'm like, he said that?
The people that speak his good graces immediately find out in their DMs.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit he is.
Well, like I feel like the only people who really support him are misogynistic men. Even like,
Oh, yeah.
his fan
even
base is
bitches who
fucked.
transition. You have that misogynistic
he's-
male thing where if you're supporting him, girl, you are just as bad as him.
I'm going to say it now. Now I'm getting hot. Christian as an entity is rape culture personified.
Absolutely.
Girl, yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we have to recognize, too, that some of the girls who shoot with him are just desperate and they are being took advantage of. Even if he's not like directly abusing you, you know that you need to realize that abusers don't just abuse everybody because they can't continue on then. They'll be picky and choosy about who they can abuse.
like
No. Okay, no. I like what you said here because there's much to be said. Now I'm fucking hot about Christian
Ah,
right now.
fuck
Hold
yeah.
on. He will give preferential treatment to people that he thinks will like
Bolster his name.
bolster his name and take advantage. And then those same people say,
Can
"Well, he
anyone
didn't do anything to me.
Who the fuck, yeah.
He didn't do anything to
Yeah.
me." It's one thing to perpetuate a fantasy, right? And say dumb shit, you know, to get people to open their wallets and let them jerk off and have a fun time, and they go back to their day. Okay, we're in the business of fantasy. Christian literally had a blog way back in the day. This is around 2008 called "Christian Fucks Them All."
Oh my God, I was all over that.
Yep. With the suitcases. Yeah.
and
that
the
fucking got
thing
me
is,
too.
and the thing
My
is,
first set.
that
Always. It's always your first
Oh, yeah.
set.
Oh, and he will contact the directors and be like, oh, she's shooting her first set. Let me be the hardcore. Let me be the hardcore. Or at least before he got blackballed from all the companies.
that's not a fantasy.
No.
That is a narcissist. This is an industry that has like no there's no HR department, there's no safety net for anybody. It's just a bunch of fuckers just shooting stuff. And the person with like the coolest looking logo gets the most attention, you know? Fucking Christian did that. Christian fucks them all. That is the hugest red flag. We only see it as a red flag in hindsight because he's been so egregious at abusing people. It could have been just a fantasy blog that he made because people, if he was a nice guy behind the scenes, we go, oh yeah, Christian fucks them all. We love Christian. He fucks them all, yeah. But that's not what it was. It's Christian fucks them all. I'm here to rape everybody.
Fucks them over.
That's
Literally.
Christian.
Literally.
His whole thing was with Christian fucks them all. Like he didn't ask me. I was digging through my bag to get an outfit out, and he just came over and started taking. Hold on, stay right there. Take a picture. You know, you can be great for my blog. It's like, this is
It's
good
not.
for
It's
me,
like
right?
ask questions later.
Yeah, this
It's
is
like,
good
shoot
for me,
now,
right?
Ask later. Oh,
Yeah, no, it's not good for you. Do not shoot with Christian. At the very least, you will avoid a headache. At the most, you're going to avoid being raped, abused, taken advantage of.
Hopefully he's a better
blackballed.
person now, but like I'm not.
I don't know. I've heard things recently too. So.
See, that's awful. No, actually, when I was on Facebook, there was this group called the Fish Tank, and I was in it, and I would just listen to all these fucking horror stories, and I'd be like, they would literally say in the comments, "Where's Domino? Where's Domino?" And then I'd come in and I'd be like, "Are you fucking stupid? Like, did you not see what I said last week?"
I will say this, and I have to rein it in because we don't have any
come
more
on.
minutes. Well, because all the gear's going to shut down.
Yeah.
We're going to lose everything.
Yeah.
But I will say this. It took a long time for an industry like Stalwart to like recognize, and I've had arguments with this company. It's Groovy and it's Steven. Right. It took a long time for Steven to catch up. And again, this ties back to like Crystal and her influence to help, whittle Steven's opinion down. If it weren't for Crystal, things might have been a lot worse. But because of Crystal's influence and because there are folks that are loud and proud about standing against abuse, Steven eventually catches up. I said it on a previous podcast. Steven's always about 5 years behind.
Oh, completely. Girl, 5.
He's always about 5 years behind.
20.
But
It's always the
I say
business
that to say
first.
this.
But I love Steven. He's
I
my
s-
daddy.
It's the business first, and then humanity has to catch up.
Exactly.
I say that to say this. I was told after, as of the time of this recording, the previous T Awards, I got a direct email from Steven, and he and I have gone back and forth for years. He said, I just want you to know, Jamie, we're not going to have Christian be a part of anything.
Do you
that
want to
has
know
do
why
with
that
our awards."
happened?
I can bet it has something to do with you and that on fucking stage thing, that whole moment.
Sure did. I said you don't ever want a shit show like that again. Well, what I said was, imagine the presenter had been one of his victims and he had won.
Oh,
Right.
that's just totally true.
Steven caught up with
I said, that's on you, boo.
Steven caught up with which way the winds blow.
Yeah.
You know?
But I'll say, like, whatever Steven wants, I'll do. Like, as long as I keep that job, please, thank you. Like, it's my favorite job. That just looks so desperate.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Yes and no.
You gotta secure the bag. Right?
I just really love that job because it's like,
It's secure.
I don't even know. Like every year I'm like, oh my God, they're not going to hire me next year. And then everyone's like, they're totally going to hire you. I'm like, you never know. Steven will change his mind last minute. I don't care how famous I get. I'm always going to host that for the same amount of price or for the same price that I've been doing it since the first time I've been doing it. I'm never going to like, I just really love being in that environment, being around all the girls and speaking to the girls and like seeing how much it's changed. Every year there's this like new like group of it bitches and you're just like, bitch, this is it. This is your high school. Like, I feel like not the principal, but like the vice principal watching all the kids get older. I'm like,
Every 3 years, there's a new batch.
oh, I love them.
Every 3 years.
I
there's a new
love
batch.
them. And they just get better and nicer every year. It's crazy
Yeah.
from my experience.
With that being said, Domino Presley, thank you so much for being on the Approximate Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Fuck yeah.
Coming through legend.
Icon. No, I'm kidding.
Icon.
Get it
legend,
right.
Hero.
The
Shiro. Yeah.
Jinx.
And to all of our listeners and to everybody that's watching, everybody, turn to your cameras and say thank you. Wave goodbye because thank you so much. Because if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be doing this at all. Thank you so much that we get to give this information to you. We love you so much. And with that being said, goodbye from the Approximate Podcast.